Thanks for joining me at Coach Path Academy. So, this is a quick history of the core competencies at the ICF. But let me start by saying that this is one of the longer videos I've done and will do. I really wanted you to have a comprehensive overview of the core competencies in one spot, since they truly are the professional coach's playbook. This video covers the first 4 competencies, and the next video will cover the last 4. To make it easier to navigate, I did break this one down into chapters for you. So with that being said, let's get started. So let's rewind the clock for a second to the year 1995. Alanis Morissette was singing about irony. People were still buying floppy disks, and the coaching profession, was kind of a free-for-all. As I've mentioned before, it truly was the Wild West of the coaching profession. It was the baby phase. And while the coaching profession was powerful in terms of moving people forward, back then there weren't any standards, there weren't any clear definitions, and we were kind of all over the place and a bit messy. And enter the International Coach Federation, founded in 1995. The mission was to bring clarity and professionalism, and most importantly, credibility to coaching. These coaches wanted to make sure coaches were trained and ethical and effective, and that's where the core competencies come in. On a side note, the very first ICF conference was held in 1995 in Houston, and I happened to be living in Houston at the time. I hadn't started my training yet, but I was about to enroll. So I went to the conference and I met the most amazing people there. And I saw Cheryl Richardson and Thomas Leonard give coaching demos. And from that moment on, I was hooked. I think I was hooked before that, but that was the absolute moment I made my commitment to be a coach. In 1998, the first version of the competencies was introduced. It outlined what great coaching looks like, created a set of benchmarks that have shaped the industry ever since. But here's the thing about coaching. It really does evolve. The way we work with clients today isn't the same at all as it was in 1998. In fact, I personally have learned to coach from top to bottom 3 times, and I don't expect that that'll be the last time. That's why in 2019, the ICF gave the competencies a much needed refresh. The updated version reflected everything we've learned over the years about what makes coaching truly transformational. It's modern, it's relevant, and it's designed to meet the needs of today's clients and coaches. And while coaching at its core remains the same, the way we talk about it and the way we deliver it keeps evolving. Here's some inside scoop. I don't really know the timeline, but I do know that the ICF is currently assembling another group of subject matter experts to reassess the competencies once again. I'll keep you posted on that as soon as I'm aware on this channel. So be sure to like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Now let's talk some more about why these competencies even exist. I mean, can't we just coach however we want? Do we really need a rule book? Here's the thing. Coaching is a powerful tool, but with great power comes great responsibility. The core competencies give us a framework to be sure we're responsible to our clients and to the global profession. The core competencies act as a catalyst for us to ensure quality. They set a standard for what great coaching looks like, sounds like, and behaves like, so the clients know that they're working with someone who knows their stuff. So when coaches follow these guidelines, it creates a safe space, an ethical space for clients to grow. After all, we're asking our clients to dig deep and be vulnerable, so we need to be sure that we're protecting them in that space. We want to be sure that when a client hires an ICF professional coach, that the quality and ethics of the profession are exactly what the client gets. So without the ICF core competencies and the subsequent accreditation and certification and all that, it really is buyer beware. The competencies aren't just for clients. They help you as a coach continue to evolve and improve your craft. The way the competencies are taught at ICF accredited schools is in levels, and each level expands on your knowledge and the application of the core competencies. And let's be honest, without some structure, coaching could just go off the rails pretty quick. Imagine a coach who just gives advice all day, or someone who listens but never helps a client take action. The competencies make sure we stay focused, ethical, and effective. And that's really what they're for. They're also essential if you're pursuing any type of certification at the ICF, like the ACC, PCC, or MCC. The competencies are your guide. Every assessment you take is based on the core competencies as a benchmark. Coach training programs use the competencies to design their programs, ensuring the students are learning the skills they need to succeed. Even after you're certified, the competencies are a tool for ongoing growth. They help you refine your skills, adapt to new challenges, and become an even better coach over time. On a personal note, I want to pause here and say that these competencies are not about perfection. They're not about a checklist to rigidly follow. They're actually a guide or a framework to help you grow into the kind of coach who can hold the space for your client's real transformation. And guess what? You don't have to figure it all out on your own. That's why I created resources like my free monthly ethics course called The Ethical Coach, The Awareness and Application of the ICF Code of Ethics, and my ebook, You've Got Questions, sample coaching questions for each ICF core competency and each PCC marker. We'll talk about the PCC markers in another video on this channel. In the meantime, these tools are here to support you as you walk this path. Check out the links below in the description box. The most important thing to keep in mind about the competencies, and this took me a while, is that they're here to support you as a coach, not to constrain you. They're your friends. And once you really know what they are and what they're about and how to use them, they can actually feel very warm and fuzzy and not so academically rigid like they may seem at first glance. All right. Now that we know the history and the purpose of the core competencies, let's get down to the fun part, breaking down each of these 8 competencies and seeing how they show up in real life coaching. Ready? It's time to dig into the heart of the playbook itself. These 8 competencies are divided into 4 clusters: the foundation, co-creating the relationship, communicating effectively, and cultivating learning and growth. Those 4 segments outline what it means to be a professional, impactful, and ethical coach. So let's take a journey through each competency. And as we go, I'll share why they matter, how they show up in practice, and a few tips to help you bring it to life in your own way. So the first competency we've talked a little bit about already, and that's demonstrates ethical practice. This competency is all about acting with integrity and adhering to the ICF Code of Ethics. You can find a link to the ICF Code of Ethics in the description box. Ethics are the foundation of everything we do as a coach because trust starts with ethics. We hold ourselves and each other to these ethical standards, not only because it's the right thing to do, but also because it really sets professional ICF coaches apart from the people in the world who call themselves coaches, sometimes with no training, and usually without doing the necessary work to become certified through the ICF. I really appreciate our ethical code is not just something we pledge, but it's also part of the core competencies, which means that without understanding and applying the code of ethics, we can never truly be exceptional coaches. Imagine trying to open up to someone you don't trust. It's nearly impossible. And by maintaining confidentiality, being honest, and respecting boundaries, we create a safe space where clients can share openly and feel supported. So when we're coaching, ethics can show up in a number of ways. When you honor confidentiality, even if it's tempting to share a juicy story, you navigate tricky situations like dual relationships or potential conflicts of interest with clarity and professionalism. You don't take shortcuts. For example, if you're not trained to address trauma, you refer the client to a qualified professional instead of attempting to handle it yourself. Ethics isn't just a one-time learning experience, and that's why I offer, as I mentioned earlier, a free monthly ethics course. It's a space to unpack real-world scenarios, sharpen your ethical decision-making skills, and stay aligned with the highest standards of coaching. So the second core competency is embodies a coaching mindset. Let's dive deeper into one of the most profound aspects of being a coach. This competency isn't about the tools you use or the questions you ask. It's about who you are being as a coach in the coaching conversation and how you approach every interaction. It's how you show up and your intentions in the session for yourself and your client. It's what Thomas Leonard called the come from point in coaching. Where are you coming from and standing in the conversation? Coaching isn't just about what you do. It's also about how you think. Your mindset as a coach shapes everything, from the energy you bring to the session to the depth of the connection with your client. Embodying a coaching mindset means staying self-aware, open, and committed to your own growth so you can guide others towards theirs. This competency is a reminder that coaching isn't just a skill set, it's a way of being. It requires you to adopt an ongoing attitude of curiosity, humility, and dedication, not only to your clients, but also to your own development. Think about it. If you walked into a coaching session with a preconceived notion or distractions clouding your focus, how effective could you truly be? Your ability to embody a coaching mindset directly impacts your ability to hold space for your clients and ask meaningful questions and create the kind of partnership where transformation happens. Your mindset as a coach sets the tone for each coaching session and for the entire coaching relationship. It's the invisible thread that ties everything together. Here's why this competency is so essential. Coaching is a partnership. And when you embody a coaching mindset, you signal to your clients that this journey is about them. It's not about your agenda, expertise, or your ego. You create a space where they feel seen, heard, and valued, which builds trust and safety. Ever notice how energy is contagious? If you show up calm, curious, and open, your clients are more likely to feel the same. But if you arrive distracted, judgmental, or resistant to learning, that energy can impact their experience and limit their growth. Growth requires openness. Coaching is about creating the space for growth, and growth doesn't happen in a closed-off environment. If you're not open to new ideas, feedback, or perspectives, how can you expect your clients to be? Embodying a coaching mindset ensures that you're modeling the very qualities you want your clients to embrace. Coaching is a continuous journey. No matter how skilled you become, there's always more to learn. The best coaches never stop growing. Right now, as I'm filming this, I'm enrolled in a great course by one of my dear friends called the Disruptive Coach. I'm also enrolled in an Eckhart Tolle program, and I'm acting as a subject matter expert for the credentialing department at the ICF. I'm also attending a retreat soon. Learning and growth and expansion never ends, and it's a joy to me. Coaching requires that you be a lifetime learner and that you're holding learning or growth or both as a very high value of yours. By committing to your own ongoing development, you not only refine your craft, but you also inspire your clients to do the same. In practice, embodying a coaching mindset isn't something you do once and then check it off a list. It's really an ongoing practice. And here are some ways this competency comes to life in your day-to-day. Approach every session with curiosity, not assumptions. Imagine starting a session thinking you already know what your client needs or what their solution should be. That's not coaching. That's advising or mentoring. A true coaching mindset invites curiosity, allows you to step into the session with an open mind, ready to explore your client's unique perspectives and uncover possibilities together. Stay open to feedback because feedback is a gift, whether it's from your client, a mentor, a supervisor, your self-reflection. As coaches, we sometimes feel pressure to have it all figured out. But the truth is, growth comes from embracing our imperfections. When you're open to feedback, you model humility and a willingness to learn, which strengthens your coaching presence. Commit to ongoing personal development. The coaching profession is constantly evolving. New research, tools, and methodologies emerge all the time. By staying engaged in learning, whether through courses, mentorship, or self-study, you ensure that your skills stay sharp and relevant. Plus, it keeps the work exciting and fresh for you, which your clients will feel. A coaching mindset requires you to regularly check in with yourself. Are you fully present? Are you carrying stress or bias into the session? Taking a moment before each session to ground yourself can make a huge difference in how you show up. A personal development note. I want to pause here and remind you that embodying a coaching mindset isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. There will be days when distractions creep in, when your confidence wavers, or when you feel unsure of yourself, and that's okay. What matters is how you respond when those moments arise. Take a breath and reconnect with your why. Why did you become a coach in the first place? What impact do you want to have? A little positive self-examination and a bit of grace for yourself can help you realign with the mindset you want to embody. Here's a pro tip for nurturing a coaching mindset. Create a simple pre-session ritual. Before each session or before you coach for the day, ask yourself, how am I showing up today? How will I be fully present and open to whatever may unfold? What's one thing I can learn from this session about my client, about my coaching, or about myself? This practice only takes a few minutes, but it can shift your energy and help you step into the session with clarity and intention. Competency 2 embodies a coaching mindset is a call to action for all of us as coaches. It's a reminder that great coaching starts with who we are, not just what we do. By staying curious, open, and committed to growth, we not only serve our clients better, we also deepen our own journey as coaches. So I invite you to reflect on how you're embodying a coaching mindset in your practice. What areas can you grow? What habits could you strengthen? What resources would you like to explore? Remember, this is a journey, not a destination. And the fact that you're here learning and reflecting tells me you're already well on your way. So let's move on to competency 3, establishes and maintains agreements. So establishes and maintains agreements is all about creating clarity and alignment in the coaching relationship and in the coaching session. Think of agreements as the guardrails on a windy road. They don't limit your journey, but they do provide structure and direction, allowing both coach and client to feel confident as you move forward. So this competency is about co-creating agreements with your client that outline the structure of the coaching relationship, the goals of the individual sessions, and the desired outcome of the coaching process. It ensures everyone's on the same page, which creates a foundation of trust and focus. But here's the thing, agreements aren't just something you check off at the beginning of a coaching relationship or a coaching session and forget about it. They're dynamic, they evolve as your client's needs and priorities and circumstances change. And maintaining agreements means revisiting and refining them regularly to ensure they're still relevant and helpful. Clear agreements might just sound like a logistical detail, but they're actually one of the most powerful tools you can have as a coach. And here's why. They build trust when you take the time to clarify expectations, roles, goals, and your client knows they're in capable hands. They see that you're being intentional about the process and committed to their growth. Agreements act like a compass, keeping both you and the client moving in the direction of what matters most. instead of wandering off through the session or coaching relationship. You both have a clear direction, and they minimize misunderstandings, because without clear agreements, it's easy for miscommunications to derail the coaching process. For example, a client might assume that you're going to provide advice while you're expecting them to generate their own solutions. So clear agreements eliminate these kinds of disconnects. Co-creating agreements reinforces the client's ownership of their journey. It's not about you, the coach, dictating what will happen. It's about partnering with the client to design a process that serves them best. So let's break down how this competency comes to life in your coaching. It certainly helps clarify what coaching is and what it isn't. At the very beginning of the coaching relationships, it's essential to set the stage, explain the role of a coach as a partner in the client's growth, not an advice giver or problem solver. Clarify that the coaching is a collaborative process where clients' insights and goals take center stage. Here's an example. You could say, coaching is about guiding you to uncover your own solutions and take meaningful action. My role is to ask you questions, listen deeply, and support you in achieving your goals. Does that sound like what you're looking for? At the start of every session, you can ask the client what they'd like to focus on. This might seem simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It ensures that the session aligns with their current needs and priorities rather than defaulting to what you think is important for them. So what's on your mind today? Or what would you like to work on today? Or what would make this session the most valuable for you today? As the coaching relationship proceeds, revisit the original agreement to ensure that they're still serving the client. Their goals might have shifted, their circumstances might have changed, or they might discover new areas they want to explore. So revisiting agreements keeps the process dynamic. It could sound something like, when we started our coaching together, your focus was on your career goals. A lot has happened since then. So is that still the priority, or is there something else you'd rather shift our attention to as the main priority? Agreements aren't just about goals. They're also about the practicalities of coaching and the coaching relationship. Clarify things like scheduling, session length, confidentiality, and the client's response between sessions. On a personal note, what I love about this competency is it's not about creating rigid rules or micromanaging the coaching process. It's about creating a container, a safe, structured space where your client can do their best work. When agreements are clear, clients feel free to explore, reflect, and grow because they know there's a solid foundation holding everything together. And as a coach, you feel more confident because you know exactly where you're going and how to guide the process. Establishing agreements isn't always straightforward. Sometimes clients don't know what they want to focus on, and sometimes they're unclear about their goals or hesitant to commit to a particular action. And that's okay. Part of embodying this competency is being patient, asking thoughtful questions, and gently guiding the client towards clarity. And over time on this channel, we're going to dig deep into each of these core competencies so we can work through these subtleties in the competencies and give you the tools and mindset you need to master them. In the meantime, one way to strengthen your ability to establish and maintain agreements is to approach each session as a collaboration instead of thinking, what do I need to do in this session? Ask, what do we need to co-create in this session? A simple question I love using is, what do you want at the end of this session that you don't have right now? This question invites the client to define their desired outcomes and ensure you're both aligned on the purpose of the conversation. Establishing and maintaining agreements is about more than logistics. It's about creating clarity, alignment, and partnership in the coaching process. And when you embrace this competency, you set the stage for powerful, focused coaching that truly serves your clients. So as you reflect on this competency, ask yourself, how clear and co-created are my agreements with my clients? And how often do I need to revisit and refine those agreements to stay aligned with my clients' evolving needs? both for the relationship and for the session. How does my session create the structure and empowerment necessary for my clients to take ownership of their vision and their growth? Remember, agreements aren't just a box to check. It's not just something you do and then go coach. You're coaching the entire time you're getting the session agreement. In fact, getting the session agreement and the relationship agreement are foundational. And as you practice this competency, you'll find that clarity creates freedom for both you and your clients. Now we're stepping into one of the most foundational elements of coaching, and that's competency 4, cultivates trust and safety. This competency is the heartbeat of the coaching relationship. Without trust and safety, even the most skilled coaching techniques fall flat. It's the invisible yet powerful foundation that makes everything else in the coaching session possible. So I have a funny story about the name of this competency. It was originally called trust and intimacy. So there's no translation in some languages for intimacy other than something, well, let's just call it hanky-panky. So when the subject matter experts who rewrote the competencies in 2019 took a look at that, they renamed this competency from trust and intimacy to trust and safety to avoid that misinterpretation. How confusing for those coaches when first being introduced to this competency. Cultivates trust and safety is about creating an environment where clients feel comfortable being vulnerable, honest, and open. It's about showing up as a coach who listens without judgment, respects boundaries, and demonstrates empathy. Think of trust and safety as the soil in which your client's growth takes root. Without healthy soil, no matter how much water or sunlight you provide, nothing can flourish. This competency ensures that the coaching relationship is a space where clients feel seen, heard, and valued. Keep in mind that trust and safety are a two-way street. Not only does the client need to develop trust and feel safe with the coach for coaching to be effective, the opposite is also true. Coaches need to trust their clients to show up to their sessions, to pay their fees, to keep moving forward. But most of all, coaches must trust their clients to do their own work. Keep in mind that trust and safety aren't built in a single session. They're cultivated over time through consistent actions and authentic presence. Every word you say, every question you ask, and every choice you make as a coach contributes or distracts from the trust that your client places into you. Trust and safety are the foundation of effective coaching. And here's why it's so essential. They allow vulnerability. Real transformation happens when clients feel safe enough to explore their fears, their doubts, and their dreams. If they don't trust you or they feel judged, they'll hold back, and that will limit the depth of the work you can do together. When clients feel safe, they're more likely to show up as their true selves. This authenticity allows for deeper insights and more meaningful progress. Growth often requires stepping out of one's own comfort zone. Clients are more willing to take risks and try new approaches when they know they're supported in a judgment-free space. Coaching is a collaborative process. Trust creates a strong partnership where both the coach and the client feel aligned and committed to the client's success. It requires us to grow. When we truly trust our clients to do their own work, it requires us to grow past our own needs and our own egos to show up and provide the space and place for them to grow without us telling them what to do or how to do it. Here are some ways this competency comes to life in your practice. One of the simplest yet most profound ways to build trust is to listen, truly listen. This means setting aside your own assumptions, opinions, and solutions and fully focusing on what the client is saying and what they're not saying. Listening is another competency that we'll cover in a minute. But when we listen and we let our clients know that we're listening, that's when it becomes apparent to the client that they can trust us. For example, when a client hesitates or shares something vulnerable, respond with empathy and curiosity, not advice or critique. Trust begins with assurance that what's shared in the coaching relationship stays in the coaching relationship. Be clear about confidentiality from the start and always uphold it. Here's an example you can tell your clients. It's important that you know that everything you share here is confidential. My role is to create a safe space for you to explore without fear of judgment or disclosure. Clients need to feel that their boundaries are respected, whether it's their time, emotional space, or readiness to address certain topics. Pushing too hard or overstepping can erode that trust. For example, if a client isn't ready to delve into a particular topic, honor their hesitation. You can be curious about it, but explore how they feel. Empathy is the ability to understand and share in the emotions of others. It's about being present with your client, experience without trying to fix. For example, this seems really important to you. Thank you for sharing it. It's an honor to be a part of this conversation. Trust is built through consistency. Show up on time, follow through on commitments, under promise and over deliver, and be fully present for every session. Small actions like these signal to your client that they can rely on you. A personal note here, something I hope you'll remember is trust and safety are not about perfection. They're about intention. You don't have to have it all right. You just have to show up authentically with a genuine desire to support your client's growth. And yes, there'll be moments when your trust is tested. Maybe a client questions your approach or expresses frustration with the coaching process. These moments can feel uncomfortable, but they're also opportunities to deepen trust. By addressing challenges openly and collaboratively, you're demonstrating that the coaching relationship is strong enough to hold through tough conversations. One of the simplest ways to cultivate trust is to start each session by centering yourself. Take a moment before your client arrives to clear your mind and focus on being fully present. When the session begins, set the tone with a simple yet powerful question like, what's most important for you to feel supported today? This not only shows that you value their input, but also invite the client to co-create the environment they need to thrive. When your client tells you their story, connect with them responsively. That does sound frustrating, or wow, that really does seem like there's a lot on your plate. This responsiveness not only shows that you value them, but also that you're listening and you're empathetic to their situation. Empathy is one of the quickest ways to develop and deepen trust and safety. Trust and safety is about more than being nice or polite. It's about creating an intentional space where clients feel empowered to explore, reflect, and grow. It's about showing up as a coach who sees their humanity, honors their journey, and believes in their potential. As you reflect on this competency, consider the following questions. How do I demonstrate trustworthiness in my coaching relationship? What actions do I take to create a safe and supportive environment for my clients? What areas deepen my ability to hold space for vulnerability and growth? What do I need to do to fully trust my clients to do their own work? Remember that trust and safety aren't just nice to haves, they're foundational of the transformational coaching process. And as you practice this competency, you'll find that your clients open up, take risks, and achieve breakthroughs they never thought were possible. That's it for the first 4 competencies. I'll cover the next 4 in the next video.